Claire's boss, Richard, made sure our names were on the guest list for his country club's annual fundraising gala. We dressed to the hilt for the occasion. I even rented a tuxedo and tied my own bow tie. My wife, of course, looked stunning in a shimmering silver backless dress that skimmed her hips and showed off her graceful figure. She'd spent good money on a styling session at a salon in town that morning and spent most of the rest of the day in the bathroom doing her makeup. I felt lucky. All eyes were on her as we walked past the entrance to the ballroom. The party was in full swing, and Claire introduced me to her coworkers. "Thanks for coming, Nick," Richard said, shaking my hand. On his wrist was a plastic yellow bracelet, the same one I'd seen on some of the other people walking around the hall. "And thanks for letting Claire up on the block." "Excuse me?" I asked, sure I'd misheard. "Didn't I mention that?" Claire asked. "People are going to bid on a date with me. That's how we were able to show up without paying." She hadn't actually mentioned it, and I barely had time to process the information before she was pushed back by the event staff. Claire's colleagues escorted me to our table, and I had only taken a sip of my red wine when my wife crossed the stage and stepped into the spotlight. "We're starting the bidding at $500, the auctioneer called. Hands shot up around the room. $600. $700. Do we have $800? $1,000? Someone exclaimed. The numbers continued to rise. Richard's wife, Darla, placed her hand on my leg. "What a catch you have," she said, twirling a champagne glass in her other hand. I sipped more wine. The hammer price was $2,200. Claire was led off the stage, her face lighting up, and I noticed a yellow bracelet dangling from her wrist. Richard and a few other men at the table stood up, each with the same yellow bracelet, and walked toward the stage exit. "Where is everyone going?" I asked. Darla raised an eyebrow. "You mean you don't know?" She pointed to her wrist. "Hell no, I don't know," I said, realizing I was speaking too loudly. Darla sighed and took a sip of champagne. "They all have sex," she said. "Men, women, everyone in the firm." "Shut the hell up," I said. I stood, but she grabbed my arm. "You don't understand," she said. "If you don't have a bracelet, security won't let you through that door. Just sit down. Try to relax. My wife is in there sleeping with other men, and you want me to relax?" Darla licked her lips and ran a finger along the rim of her glass. She spread her legs, the slit of her elegant black dress slipping further down her naked white thigh. "Well then," she said, "you want to get even?" Before I knew it, we were in the back seat of my car. We got back to the table just as Claire and the others returned to the room. I smirked as she sat down. "I know something you don't know," I said. "What's that look?" she asked, still smiling. "Having fun out there?" She stared at me. "Richard was just giving us our year-end bonuses," she said, pulling an envelope out of her bag. "Yeah," I asked. "Then what's this bracelet for?" She looked at her wrist and nodded, as if she just had an aha moment. "There for the open bar," she said, pulling another one out of her bag and holding it out to me. "We didn't get any when we came in." I looked at Darla. She raised her glass, smiled, then turned to her husband and joined in the conversation. "Are you mad about the date?" Claire asked. "I really thought I mentioned it. You can come if you want. It's not like I'm going to sleep with that guy."